quite a bit of bitterness coming from Team USA's coach Cheryl Reeves when she was asked pretty much any questions about Caitlin Clark. And she was asked if there was any second guessing from her on Caitlin Clark not making the team, and she very just spitefully says no. Doesn't elaborate on it, just says no.
For me? Yeah. No.
And it's funny to me how even she coached this game, because if you didn't think Caitlin Clark was the caliber of player that she is, then why would you feel the need to face guard her, to trap her?
What do you get when a championship coach turns into a flamethrower with a clipboard? Chaos, drama, and a whole lot of side-eye. Cheryl Reeve just went full savage on every coach and the entire Indiana Fever squad over the All-Star votes. And let's just say she did not come to play nice. If you thought WNBA politics were mild, buckle up. Reeve got receipts, rage, and a bone to pick. You have never seen a meltdown this.
Finished watching the All-Star selection. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. Caitlin Clark was the minutes, man. She literally kicked Cheryl Reeves off the team. It's my team. I don't yo, son. Cheryl Reeves, you asked for it. You asked for it. So now Sandy Brondello will be coaching Caitlin Clark's team, and Cheryl Reeves is going to be coaching the Fisa Collier team. This is insane right here. And it's like, yo, Cheryl Reeves, I get it. You have the best record in the WNBA so far. You want as many.
Cheryl Reeve could be handing out gold bars and curing the common cold, and there would still be a stampede of people lining up to say no thanks, we are good. Because even if she has a valid point, there is just something about that old school WNBA energy that feels like someone brought a VHS tape to a streaming war. It is giving rotary phone in a smartphone world.
Bruh, tell me y'all just saw Caitlin Clark destroy Cheryl Reeves on national TV. I know y'all saw free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke. Bruh, Caitlin Clark want all the smoke. Caitlin Clark want all the smoke, bruh. Bruh, she just annihilated Cheryl Reeve on national television.
And now she is stomping around about all-star votes like she just discovered democracy has flaws. Welcome to Earth, Cheryl. Here is the thing. When someone from the league's dusty cabinet of power starts preaching, it is hard to take it seriously, especially when it sounds less like advocacy and more like a disgruntled Yelp review from a coach who just watched her team get outplayed, outclassed, and outfanned by a franchise that suddenly.
Reeves, man, she came out, stated how not only herself, but her players were kind of upset about the coaches' votes for the reserves, for the All-Star. Now, the crazy thing about it is, she's going to be coaching Caitlin Clark's team. So, I don't know how that's going to work with her coming out and saying what she said. I mean,
who knows? Oh yes, we are talking about them. The Indiana Fever. The same team with 3 All-Stars. The same team that danced right through the Commissioner's Cup like they were auditioning for center stage at.
The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the rosters. But the most interesting aspect was the coach swap, because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty. Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense. But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media about the amount of attention Clark received relative to
the weird aroma in the air when someone complains about media hype but somehow manages to give the media more hype by going off in public. It is like watching someone throw water on a grease fire and then act surprised when the flames hit the ceiling. Cheryl is not mad about fairness. She is mad because the spotlight used to automatically shine on her system, her rules, her players. And now the light shifted and it is a little too bright for her taste. Let's call it what it is. A good old-fashioned case of all-star envy. Nothing brings out the inner chaos goblin of the WNBA like watching a team get 3 shiny all-star nods while yours gets what? Applause for effort. Suddenly it is not about basketball. It is about algorithms and justice and the integrity of the game, whatever that means this week. Because when her players are not selected, it is a systemic issue. But when her team wins, oh, then the system is working just fine. Convenient. The real kicker, she had to watch her squad get schooled by that same Indiana Fever team in a game that actually meant something. The Commissioner's Cup, a trophy, real stakes. And she did not just lose. It was not a fluke 3-mailer or buzzer beater.
They're there. There's nothing no crying and whining is going to do about it. The same way you didn't give two shits about Caitlin Clark's fan base and all that, don't nobody give two shits about your crying. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you're coaching Caitlin Clark's team. I don't understand why you had to make it a big deal and say, oh, well, this team's below us to have more plays than us and it's disappointing. And like, what are you talking about? Like, you already kept her off the Olympics. Now you're going to complain about her having more teammates than your plays on the court.
And heartbreak. No, this was a full display of dominance. And that is where the salt crystallized into a full-blown Himalayan mountain. It is not the all-star votes that stung. It is the scoreboard. That loss was not just a bruise to the ego. It was a televised exorcism. And now she is spiraling like someone who found out the neighbor's kid got into Harvard while hers is still doing TikTok dances in the driveway. It is petty. It is delicious. And it is peak vintage Reeve, because nothing says I am totally fine like erupting in public about a popularity contest that does not even matter. Except when it does. The WNBA is finally in the limelight. And instead of leaning into it, here comes Cheryl with a megaphone screaming about balance and respect. Like the league is about to get hijacked by a bunch of 22-year-olds with Instagram deals. Guess what? It already has. And it is working. The ratings are up, the merch is flying off shelves, and the fever has gone from meme to movement. But now let's pretend this is still 2014 and the world owes veteran coaches a pat on the back just for showing up in a pantsuit.
They asked Caitlin Clark, hey Caitlin, are there any player trades you like to make? Nah, I'm kind of set with my team, but I would like to trade coaches. I like it. I don't know what's gotten into Caitlin Clark. You are leaning into this bad guy role. I love it. I don't know what's gotten into you, Caitlin Clark, but you've been on some I don't give a F lately.
Logic. It is about energy. Because that all-star roster did not get filled by accident. It got filled by buzz, by fans, by real moments that went viral for a reason. You cannot coach your way around hype. You cannot game plan against momentum. Cheryl is trying to play chess while everyone else is live streaming Uno with millions of viewers. And every time she tries to checkmate the new guard, they just reverse the draw 4 and send it right back. And let's be honest, if her team had 3 all-stars, we would not be hearing a single peep. There would be a parade, confetti, maybe even a LinkedIn post about culture wins. But the minute the recognition skips over her crew, suddenly we are in an emergency meeting about ethics. Please. The only emergency is the PR crisis of trying to look gracious while seething over someone else's spotlight. It is always fascinating how quickly teamwork and merit turns into this is rigged when the votes do not go your way. The system is broken, but only when it breaks away from the same tired power structures. The league is growing, finally capturing national attention, but heaven forbid the attention does not align with legacy egos. Cheryl is not
being the coach of Team USA that Caitlin Clark was so famously snubbed from. Of course, Reeve wasn't a part of the official committee, but, some may believe she had some say in how all that went down. Regardless, the picking between the players was a lot of fun, and Caitlin Clark also wound up with all of the Fever members on her squad as well, meaning Aaliyah Boston, Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell will be a trio in Indianapolis.
Fighting for fairness. She is just uncomfortable with being irrelevant. And deep down everyone knows it. There is a distinct flavor to this type of outrage. The flavor of someone who is watching the game evolve in real time and cannot decide whether to adapt or throw a tantrum. And tantrum won. Because when your legacy is built on being the smartest person in the room, nothing hurts more than realizing the room moved without you. The fever is rising literally, and Cheryl is stuck in a snowstorm of her own expectations. Watching her get flustered over a list of names read off during halftime feels like watching someone argue with a touch. WNBA is having a moment. And some people are so bitter they would rather see it stall than celebrate the players pulling it forward. This is not just sour grapes. It is a whole vineyard. It is grape juice, grape jelly fermented into vintage wine. And somewhere deep in her heart she knows it. But admitting that would mean accepting that the game has passed her old blueprint by. That winning is not enough anymore. That charisma, visibility, relevance, those matter now. And if your brand cannot
Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve. Nafisa Collier was supposed to be coached by New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello. They swapped coaches. Cheryl Reeve, dodged the bullet. Thank God I don't need to coach Caitlin Clark, man. Man, I can't deal with that. I would have had to swallow so much pride, I can't do that. Fee, she probably called him the Fee, talk to Caitlin, please. I can't coach her, I can't do it. This book's about to come out. You know what they're gonna be saying if I'm coaching Caitlin Clark and the book's out? Oh, God. Fee, please.
No amount of screaming into the all-star void is going to change that. The truth is the Fever earned every bit of that spotlight. Whether by design or by chaos, they became the nucleus of WNBA conversation. And Cheryl became the angry side character yelling from the stands. It is not a good look. It is giving 2007 called and wants its playbook back. So no, even if she is technically right about a few things, no one is listening because no one wants to hear the person who just lost tell you why the winner is not that impressive. That is not analysis. That is ego in a cheap disguise. And when the dust settles, the all-star game will go on. The fans will cheer. The Fever will bask. And Cheryl Reeve, she will still be there trying to turn back a clock that—
Lads, we gotta talk about something right here. We have got to talk about something. Caitlin Clark just made the funniest all-star selections ever. She just picked her friends. She made sure she picked no ops, as people like to call them. She made sure there were no ops on her team. If she's played with a player before, like Sonia Citron, she picked her. Gabby Williams, she picked nobody to tweet at
does not care. The drama in this league is like a telenovela with sneakers. Every week it levels up. First it is a missed call, then it is an Instagram unfollow. It is Cheryl Reeve storming out of the All-Star committee like she just found out her favorite soap got cancelled. The WNBA is not just about basketball anymore. It is a full-on circus of side eyes, passive-aggressive post-game interviews, and three-point daggers thrown with the accuracy of high school gossip. It is absolutely exhausting and somehow also wildly entertaining. But here is the twist that keeps getting lost in translation. All-Star Weekend is not a gritty playoff matchup. It is not film room breakdowns and defensive schemes. It is not who boxed out the hardest or who logged the highest defensive rating in the last 30 days. No, All-Star Weekend is for the fans. It is the halftime show of the entire WNBA season. It is glitter stunt selfies and maybe a dunk or two if someone is feeling spicy. And the minute that reality sets in, suddenly the outrage over who got voted in feels like someone throwing a tantrum at a birthday party because their cake only had one candle. What Cheryl Reeve and others in her crusty echo chamber do not seem to grasp is that fans are not advanced analytics. They do not vote with stat sheets in hand. They vote with emotion, with loyalty, with hype. If the All-Star game were truly about performance, then great. Just run an Excel.
So everyone that was concerned about Caitlin getting coached by Cheryl Reeve, we don't have to worry about that or anything. I wasn't necessarily concerned. I thought it would be funny that she would have to coach Caitlin's team with the Indiana crowd there. Knowing the history from, the Olympic team and everything like that, this is the funniest result possible. You put her back, with Team Collier. You put her basically on the road team. That crowd's going to be all in for Team Caitlin with all